Well, thank you everybody for making it here for our flagship event, Democratizing Credit in 2024. I am extremely humbled and privileged to be amongst all of you folks to quickly give a welcome note before really the main session starts. We're perfect. We have the deck out here right away. So, quick introduction. I'm Bhavin Turakhia. I'm the CEO and co-founder at Zeta. And I'll start by spending the next 10 minutes just introducing you first to Zeta. You know, who we are, why we exist, and our vision and how we hope to achieve it before we kick off today's events with several luminary speakers and amazing insights that we'll all share with you. So who are we? Who is Zeta? Zeta was founded in 2015 by myself and Ramki, my co-founder. He's also going to be on the stage today to showcase a really exceptional demo of our platform and talk to you about this concept of population scale banking. We're all really, really bullish about the opportunity that India represents in terms of the level of penetration of credit in this country and what the potential is. And Ramki will cover that in his session, in his split session in some sense. But we co-founded this company in 2015 with the goal and objective of essentially rewriting all of banking technology. Right? I believe it's preposterous that in this day and age, a vast majority of financial institutions across the globe are still leveraging technology stacks that in many cases were written, conceptualized, and built before I was born. I had the opportunity to actually, for the first time, witness a IBM 3270 emulator green screen roughly about a year and a half ago. And you know, some of us carry kind of more power, more computing power in our pockets than most of these sort of interfaces provide for today's sort of banking platforms, right? We felt, Ramki, me, and the entire organization of about 1,700 people that's behind Zeta now, about 1,200 people in product and engineering, we strongly believe that the consumers that exist today in banking deserve far better, far more delightful experiences that cannot be provided on existing legacy stacks. You can't really take the parts of a feature phone and no matter what you do, you can't build a smartphone from it. So our goal in building a next-gen banking tech platform, and today Zeta has, in my opinion, the most broad, the most deep platform that spans across every use case of banking, across credit cards, debit cards, loans, deposits, card processing, co-banking, and loan management for retail and corporate customers. We work with various large issuers across the globe with essentially fundamentally the goal of substantially increasing the agility and nimbleness of every financial institution, of making you substantially more faster, of enabling you to improve your cost to income ratio, and of enabling you to truly delight your customers with beautiful experiences, injecting the fun back into banking. So as I said, we started this company in 2015 with this goal objective of essentially rewriting the entire banking stack. We spent the last 9 years building what we believe. I'm truly proud of the work that a lot of people in this room, actually, we have people from Zeta out here, a lot of people in this room have contributed to. Really proud of the stack that we've built and the success that we're seeing in this industry and space. We were valued at $1.5 billion in our last fundraise, our first and only institutional fundraise until now. We started the company, kind of self-capitalized it between myself and Ramki, and then raised about $300 million 2.5 years ago at roughly a $1.5 billion valuation, which actually makes us the highest valued banking tech company in this country. But the number that I really want to draw your attention to is the second number on the screen. In the last 9 years, Zeta has spent $360 million on R&D in building this platform. I'll give you sort of a quick insight and an introduction to it, which is by far the most amount of money that's been spent on building a brand new, modern, cloud-native, microservices architecture-based, API-first, next-gen banking platform in this country. Today, we operate 25 million live accounts already on our platform across large banks, issuers, across the globe in multiple markets. The largest part of our focus is India and US. But we do have customers in Europe, in Brazil, in Vietnam, Philippines, etc. But we currently have 25 million live accounts on our platform. But what's more important is we've signed contracts with some of the largest financial institutions across the globe, representing another 60 million accounts that will be migrated to our platform. And again, I'm truly humbled by the kind of trust that these institutions are placing in us. Some of these institutions are migrating from legacy stacks onto a platform like Zeta and embarking upon a technology project that is by far amongst the largest technology investment that they've perhaps made in the last 25 years. It's a sizable amount of risk for them, and therefore, as I said, truly humbled by the kind of partnerships that we've developed in this industry and space across India and the US. And we've consistently found, which is a testament to the kind of platform we've built, and as I said, today there'll be some demos that will show you that, we've consistently found that Zeta has always been a front runner and amongst the only banking tech company globally that has been consistently winning large bank contracts across the globe in multiple markets for credit cards and debit cards and loans and core banking and deposits, etc. So that's a quick introduction to Zeta. Let me talk a little bit spend about one slide on introducing you to the landscape, as I said, the vast breadth and depth that we've built in our stack today. So obviously, fundamentally, Zeta provides a series of core platform capabilities that can be used by any bank. And by the way, Zeta is not a fintech. We're not a lending company. We're not a bank ourselves. Our goal and objective is to enable financial institutions to be able to deliver the best experiences to their customers and maximize their ROA. And today, our breadth of solutions extends across the landscape of retail and commercial banking to enable banks to be able to launch any asset, liability, or payment product you can conceptualize for retail consumers or corporates, commercial consumers that you have in your entire repertoire. Our core processing platform consists of, it's basically the suite is called the Tachyon suite, and it consists of Tachyon Credit, which can be used to basically launch any kind of credit card, any revolving credit cards. Could be commercial credit card, retail credit card, private label credit card, co-brand credit card, etc. We have Tachyon Loans, which is our loan management platform that supports the entire life cycle of a loan from origination to amortization, interest calculations, fees, reamortizations, closures, and pretty much everything in between as far as the life cycle of a loan is concerned. We have debit card processing, we have deposit processing, etc. And today's focus, of course, is box number 3 from top there, which is our UPI credit stack. Every piece of technology, by the way, that we provide to financial institutions, and this encompasses the entire landscape of what you can imagine providing within banking, is all 100% built in-house, 100% written in the last 9 years, not a single line of legacy code, not a single legacy system or platform that we depend on, entirely created using modern technology. But what's more important, for me, the word next gen in our offering, it doesn't really reference the fact that we're cloud native and API first and headless and microservices architecture based. It refers to the fact that leveraging these next-gen technologies, we're able to enable you to provide next-gen experiences and next-gen capabilities for your personas, customers as well as in-house staff, call center agents, back office operations people, and so on and so forth. You will actually witness our UPI credit stack in action today during a subsequent session. It is truly, by far, one of the most amazing platforms built in terms of scalability that will, in our opinion, truly be relevant for this notion of democratizing credit in India and truly taking us to kind of the opportunity landscape that we expect credit to kind of follow over the course of the next 7 years or so. But we not only have these core systems, we've then gone ahead and built all the required out-of-the-box, completely optional but available digital experience interfaces that you would need, again, using some amazing modern technology paradigms. We have a platform that can enable you to create out-of-the-box custom mobile apps and web apps for retail consumers called 360. We have a platform, and you'll witness that today also. We've actually built a live UPI credit app that you all can actually download and use today, right here. In fact, on most of the tables up front, you'll actually see there's a tent card there with 2 QR codes. You can actually scan that QR code, or you can, on the Apple App Store, you can download the app. It's called Unnati, UNNATI. On the Play Store, you can scan that QR code. You will have to go through a series of steps because it's a side-loaded app. but you can actually truly experience it. On the flip side of the tent card, there's another QR code that you can use to scan and actually make payments. So you can issue yourselves, I think everybody gets a 5 lakh rupee credit. It's not real money, but you can use that 5 lakh rupee credit to perform transactions today using that QR code. And by the way, for every transaction, you can do 100 of them, hypothetically, but for every transaction that any one of you tries today in the audience using that app, it's a beautifully designed app, by the way, for every transaction, we actually are going to plant a tree. So essentially, it's your contribution to the environment. So please go ahead and try out the experience yourself using those 10 cards. As I said, you will actually see that demo that uses our digital banking platform to create a really beautiful experience for UPI credit that's either fully embeddable or fully customizable. We also have a conversational AI platform, by the way, so that's kind of the digital banking side. And then we further supplement this by offering any and all of the surround systems that a bank needs to complete their offering and truly operate a credit card. You know, for the first time, I've built enterprise software all my life, and really, this has been the most fun company and organization endeavor that I have started, co-founded along with Ramki, because you truly get a sense. 9 years, 10 years ago, both of us started with almost no knowledge, which is the way I've started all my companies. The known knowns are very limited, and the known unknowns is really the vast universe of knowledge that's out there. 9 years hence, today, we believe that we have a pretty good handle on the industry, the technology, the regulation, the opportunities, etc. But banking, even to launch one single product for your customers, there are probably more than 25 to 30 systems that are needed to work in close concert, like a symphony, like an orchestra together to make that beautiful music for your customers. Unfortunately, vast majority of the banking ecosystem has been reliant on buying these pieces from 20 different vendors, trying to assemble them to try and create a beautiful experience. That's really not the way you are going to be able to do that. And so at Zeta, we really took on this challenge of, as I said, rewriting. This is the issuing side of the stack, by the way. We also have a bunch of technology in the acquiring side, but rewriting pretty much every piece of technology that a financial institution or a bank needs to run any successful product for your customers, retail or commercial. So that's a quick introduction to the stack. As I said, we have a series of surround systems ranging from rewards and data stacks and fraud management and servicing systems for contact center and operations, etc. Combined together, this entire stack forms a universal, what we call a polymorphic omni-stack platform, the only one of its kind, because even if you look at this, most of the legacy players who do offer credit or debit or deposits or loans typically tend to do it through multiple disparate systems that they've acquired inorganically over time. Zeta today, amongst all the legacy players and all the modern players, I challenge you, there is not one company in the entire world that has a single universal stack that can run an entire bank, retail, commercial, asset, liability, and payments on one platform, giving you one view of your customer that exists anywhere. We took on this really ambitious target and goal because we felt that's truly the only way that we would be able to provide through you folks the kind of experiences your customers deserve. We obviously offer our platform. As I said, we're not a fintech, we're not a lending company, we are a technology service provider, rather a partner to banks. In fact, majority of our business also is with banks as opposed to fintechs. More than 95% or 98% of our customers are banks of all sizes. But fundamentally, I think one thing that differentiates us also is we've found consistently that the largest issuers, not just in one country, but in 2, 3, 4 different countries, have trusted Zeta with their customer base, millions of accounts and millions of customers they're launching on our platform, right? And just to give you sort of 2 examples, this is an example of one of our large customers who trusted us very early on in the US. It's a company called CardWorks. They're actually a top 20 bank in the US. They have 6 million cards on Fiserv today, and they are in the process of migrating their entire base over to Zeta. Again, the largest project they've ever undertaken in the history of their kind of technology investment. This is a quote from the CEO, where they spent 18 months rigorously diligencing multiple so-called modern platforms to find that Zeta basically, none of the other platforms came close to Zeta in terms of completeness, next-gen capabilities, API surface, readiness, maturity, compliance, etc. The next testimonial is no stranger to anybody. We are truly humbled and privileged for the last 2.5, 3 years to be working very, very closely with the largest private sector bank in this country, HDFC Bank. And again, I can't sort of overstate the gratitude that I, Ramki, and my team feel towards HDFC as an institution for trusting us early on. It is not very common to have a scenario where a startup that is just starting out with barely any customers and clients in a space and industry that has not been disrupted meaningfully for 40 years, where the primary business of the institution is risk management, to entrust such a large project and endeavor with a company. And we're truly, as I said, humbled and privileged to actually be their partners and work with them to co-create what we feel jointly. If any of you folks, most of you folks in the audience, if you use PayZapp regularly, that's the first product that we've launched together. And we consistently keep adding more and more products along with them within that kitty. It's a beautiful experience. It's truly amazing what we managed to achieve in a really short window of time, competing with giants in some sense that have been around, that have invested billions of dollars over the last 10 to 12 plus years. And we're still today, I believe, amongst the best, if not the best experiences, with the clear intention of becoming the market leader, right? And as I said, I'm very, very privileged to have the opportunity to work with them. Parag, of course, has kindly offered to also, deliver a keynote address out here. So we'll be welcoming him shortly after this session. So that's kind of a quick introduction to who we are. I'll take a few minutes in talking about why, right? When we started Zeta, Ramki and I are both really passionate about the payments and banking industry. But why do we exist? What's the vision that we started out with? What is the change that we want to see in the world? And we kind of spoke about our vision in this sort of phrase that we call democratize banking. This is something that we've been preaching over and over again over the last 9 years of our existence. And what it means to us is that democratizing banking, the notion of democratizing banking is enabling ubiquitous access to all banking services to every single individual and corporate across the globe at fair terms, fair prices, in a fair way, in an equitable way. And we strongly believe that if every individual and every organization in the world has access to credit, small to big, has access to insights and ability to save their money, to grow their wealth, to utilize their money efficiently, then it will meaningfully increase financial prosperity across the world. And we've taken on this vision not by ourselves, but as partners along with you folks, as champions, cheering all of you folks on the sidelines by empowering you and enabling you to achieve this vision jointly across the world. And lastly, let's move on to sort of, our approach and strategy. We set out with this vision. We believed very strongly that there still isn't adequate, fair, and ubiquitous access to banking services across the globe. And it's not just in developing markets like India, which definitely represent a huge opportunity, but even in developed markets like United States and elsewhere, banking is still far behind in many respects in terms of inclusion, in terms of access, in terms of opportunity. And early on, we decided this was our vision. We decided this is a space that we're passionate about. And we had the option of, either saying that maybe we can go out there and kind of run a bank, or do what we're doing today as Zeta, which is, as I said, we're not a fintech, not a lender. We're basically a technology service provider and a partner. And that's the strategic path that we chose. We said that the way we want to achieve this vision is very simple. We want to provide the best of breed, next-gen technology platforms to banks. We do not think of ourselves as a vendor. We think of us as a partner that co-owns your goals jointly with you and gives you the best of breed technology. Ramki and I both, we've spent our entire life, and a vast majority of a team, perhaps, has spent a vast majority of their life just building B2B and enterprise SaaS software. We want to leverage that skill set and that competence and strength that we bring, marry it with the kind of experience, the kind of trust that these brand names espouse in these markets, the kind of years of experience that you have on regulation, compliance, and risk management, and marry the two together to effectively achieve that vision and outcome. And our strategy, therefore, fundamentally relies on three elements that that we want to achieve for financial institutions. The first is this concept of what we call substantially increased iteration speed. That is, improve the iteration cycle speed. On an average, financial institutions today take between 20 to 30 months to launch a new product. In the startup world, that's unheard of. Our typical experimental cycles and timeframes are in the order of weeks, if not days. How do we make that happen? You know, all of us as bankers obviously understand the notion of compounding, but in spite of being career bankers, as human beings, we unfortunately can almost never figure out the true impact, exponential impact that compounding has. Meaning that if, let's say, a typical iteration is that a bank comes up with a new idea, they put it out there in the market, they get feedback from the customer, that's one cycle. With that feedback, they start the cycle again. Put out another idea, repeat that process. If this cycle takes 1 year, each time you want to perform this cycle, versus if that same cycle is cut down to 1 month, then in a 10-year time frame, you will actually not end up seeing 12x growth. You'll end up seeing more than 10,000 to 20,000 times the exponential growth just by reducing that iteration cycle. Imagine now if you can cut that iteration cycle down to days. You know, many of you folks haven't seen our platform, but I know Ramki and I, we keep discussing this. There was a point in time when I started companies and have done so many occasions now for the last 25 years, to start a new idea and write and deploy a new application, there was a time, you folks remember too well also, you had to go and buy a data center space from somebody, you'd buy a cage, you'd buy a Dell machine, you'd buy electricity, you know, network connectivity, install Linux operating systems, set up your routers. This whole process just to get your business off the ground would take 6 months, 3 to 6 months. Today, I can do it in 30 seconds. I can go to AWS and get the same infrastructure, or Azure and get the same infrastructure that some of the biggest companies in the world use. Imagine the quantum leap that has made in terms of rapidly accelerating innovation and startups, right? So our goal, by the way, fundamentally, and we're still some ways away from that, but our goal and our commitment today is that we will demonstrably show you over the course of Zeta's journey the ability to be able to point, click, and launch an entire bank in 1 day. Everything fully configured, from experiences to surround systems to integrations to platforms, in 1 day. We're not there yet. We still have substantially improved iteration speed for a vast majority of the clients that we work with, but our goal eventually is to get to that point. Enable you to iterate faster so you can innovate faster and launch faster. Next, of course, is meaningfully impact and reduce your operation costs and improve income and optimize cost-to-income ratio by both leveraging self-service capabilities, APIs, enabling your customers to do things faster, enabling your contact center agents, your back office operations teams to do things faster with substantially better automation. But also, there's a lot of work that's going on in our organization on leveraging AI in unprecedented ways to make decisions. I strongly believe, there's another prediction I want to make today. 5 years from now, almost every conversation that somebody wants to have with a bank is going to be directed and driven through conversational AI. 10 years from now, decisioning AI will run the whole bank. To me, banking is nothing but a mathematical equation. On the right-hand side, you have return on assets, which is exactly what we're all chasing. That's the holy grail. On the left-hand side, you have all these input levers that you can manipulate on a per customer, per account, per transaction basis, whether it's, underwriting, fraud, how much money should I lend? What should I price? What should the interest rate be? What should the rewards be? All of these input levers can be manipulated and hyper-personalized, and you can have decision engines and models that can tweak these to achieve finally what an outcome is needed. If I'm a bank that's willing to put up X amount of equity to generate a certain ROE, that's the goal that I set, and machine learning and AI will be able to essentially operate the bank. So our goal and objective is to leverage the best in technology to consistently enable you folks to reduce your costs, increase revenue. So I guess that's 4 points. I already covered the third one. And sorry, I think there was one missing out there, which is actually my favorite one. So funny that's missing is delight your customers. We strongly believe that banking consistently, historically, has been so transactional in nature that it's lost the fun and delight. It's lost the notion of truly being a digital product. And a lot of the work that we do and the platforms that we build is focused towards how can we imbibe delight into all experiences? How can we enable you to hyper-personalize products, to create unique experiences, to surprise your customer, to evoke emotion on a constant basis, right? So those are the pillars that we want to kind of influence. So that's kind of a quick introduction to Zeta, who we were or are, and what our vision is and how we intend and hope to achieve that vision in partnership with you. With that, I'll take the last couple of minutes and just quickly welcome you all to this event, Democratizing Credit. Myself, Ramki, our entire team is extremely bullish about the opportunity of credit in India, in this country. India is it's a highly underpenetrated market when it comes to credit, and this graph kind of illustrates, taken from one of the TransUnion CIBIL reports, that showcases the fact that there are about 800 plus million credit-eligible adults amongst our population, and less than 30% of them are today fully served as far as their credit needs are concerned. So, massive gap, substantial opportunity. If our country is truly chasing the goal of more than doubling our GDP, getting to $7 trillion in GDP by 2030, credit is going to be an extremely important, fair credit accessible to the right person, to the deserving folks at the right price, at the right terms, is a massive catalyst enabling individuals to invest in themselves, education, basic needs, etc. Organizations to be able to invest in ideas to truly catalyze growth in the economy. So when this country has taken on this objective of multiplying its GDP, I would say that the entire banking ecosystem, everybody sitting in this room, probably has the most important role to play in this country being able to achieve that outcome. And our goal, our objective is to help all of us get there, right? So I'll end my presentation with this bold, what I believe is a conservative projection. We strongly believe that credit is an idea whose time has come. India has been underpenetrated, but we think of UPI now, for instance, as a credit superhighway that enables, thanks to its sort of platform and capabilities, discovery of credit contextually at the time, place that you need it. And to us, we believe there is a strong capability that fundamentally will shift the frequency with which every transaction becomes a pricing opportunity and a loan opportunity for both the consumer to be able to discover the ability and the opportunity to access credit, and for institutions like you to be able to lend money, right? We believe that by 2030, conservatively, credit lines and credit spends through UPI will reach $1 trillion annual spend. Our goal and objective is to provide, and you'll see that stack today, the platforms and the capabilities and the operations that enable you to enable this vision and reach that outcome, with the goal for us to be able to capture at least 50% or more of that spend on our platforms. We truly believe that what Zeta has built is uniquely positioned to enable all of you and us to together capitalize on this opportunity in the fastest way with the best possible experiences that your customers deserve and will get. With that, I would like to quickly welcome everybody to sort of kickstart off this event. We have some amazing sessions and speakers today who will be able to speak far more with far more experience on this subject than even I have, and really share their insights on democratizing credit in India. Thank you very much.